Hey guys, I just want to take a couple of minutes to uh, offer some words of encouragement. Um, First off, I want to just kind of encourage everyone to do your own thing, to do what really moves you, do what really makes you happy, even if it's breaking away from the crowd, and even if it makes you weird. I don't like to use the word weird or different because I believe that we're all individuals and we're all different in our own way, all so different. And honestly, I think it's funny remembering high school because we would be so focused on trying to be like one another and to fit into these groups and do all these exact same things and take that individuality away from ourselves. And um, I just think it's it's taking away from who you are. It's taking away from what you have been blessed with. And so I just want to tell you, just do your own thing, do whatever makes you happy. I know that a lot of the times I can say some weird things and do weird things or whatever, but I have taught myself to not even focus on what other people may be thinking or saying. And a lot of the times, what I realize is that people don't say things at all. A lot of the times, the things that we feel that other people are thinking about us aren't even true. They come from our own misconceptions. And so I just want to remind you guys to put the focus on what makes you happy instead of putting the focus on what other people might be saying about you or other people what might be thinking about you. I mean, they're your own actions. I think each one of us is smart enough to reflect on our own actions and look at them and say, this is making me into someone that I don't want to be known as, or this is making me into someone that I do want to be known as. I think we're all smart enough to pick and choose from those two separate categories. That we do things that make us who we want to be. That help us look like the person we want to be. I think that we waste a lot of emotional energy and time on being worried about what other people think or what's in style or what will be weird, and we're just we're individuals. We should love ourselves for who we are. And if other people love us, then that's awesome. And if other people are intimidated by us because we're weird, then that's their own issue. um, Another thing that helps me be really encouraged is to make every year bigger. I like to make year goals. I like to do something bigger every year. Um, this year I'm gonna travel a lot. This year I got a really good job. I've done a lot of things this year that I didn't do last year that I feel like I'm making this year bigger. So that's something that makes me really encouraged. And next year, I feel like I'm going to make next year bigger and the year after that. Um, and that kind of also helps, actually, that really helps me take all the necessary steps and actions into really pushing myself to do what I want to do. I make every day bigger, not just every year. Overall, I make every year bigger, and when one year ends, I'm just like, wow, that year was amazing, yay! Hooray for me! I did what I wanted to do. I made every year better. But every single day, it's a lot more short term goal. I make every day better. If I feel like today wasn't a good day, I'm gonna make tomorrow a good day. Uh, I'm gonna make someone's day tomorrow because that always makes me happy. It's helping someone else. I I didn't feel like I dressed up enough, or girl issues, or guy issues, or whatever. I felt like I don't know, that date didn't go well last night or something, anything that's bringing you down. Just go to bed at night and think, okay, how can I make tomorrow better? How can I learn from my mistakes today so that tomorrow I'm a much better person than I was today? And if you do that every day, I have noticed that it actually overall makes the whole year better. Um, by making every day better and by making these goals for myself to, okay, this is what I'm gonna do today. I'm gonna I'm gonna do something that'll help me get to where I want to be career-wise or school-wise. By doing that and by disciplining myself, I make myself a better person and I get myself closer to where I want to be. It's actually more and more realistic every day because I work harder every single day to get to where I want to be. It's not, if I don't get to where I want to be, it's not because I didn't work hard enough and I know I can have that security. It's because it just wasn't the right time, or because, that career field isn't hiring right now or something like that. But at least I will have the security that I worked hard enough. Um, Another thing that really encourages me is to be grateful for everything, especially pain. I kind of am learning to stray away from polarities, positive and negative. I know that I've used the positive and negative aspects a lot, but I'm learning to kind of fuse those together because they're coming from the same energy source. They're just coming from action or a willpower, awareness. And when we separate these things, there is the bad and there's the good in life. But when we put these things together, it's just all growth and learning. It's opportunity. It really is opportunity. So I always say that I am grateful for a kind and gracious God, because God is kind and gracious. And if you always show your appreciation, gratefulness, and you always give thanks, you will have those things that make you happy in your life. Um, because who wants to give to an ungrateful person? Like, let's be realistic here. Who wants to give to an ungrateful person? I know I don't, even though sometimes I do. But, you know, who wants to give to an ungrateful person? Um, I know that I go back and forth on the polarities, negative and positive, and then combining them. It's because I'm still learning, and you take from me, and I take from other people, and we're still learning. I'm just trying to explain it the best way I can right now because it makes sense to me. um, but going back to having just positive and negative as one in this aspect of your life, it's just seeing it as growth. um I've said this before, I know I have, is to just be grateful for all the pain and stuff, because it'll take you from where you want to be, take you from where you are to where you want to be, through the growth and learning process, trial and error, etc., etc. And actually, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Yeah, it's absolutely true. Doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Absolutely. If someone's bashing you at school, it doesn't kill you, it's gonna make you 100% stronger, guaranteed. um um Oh, and I was also gonna say every suffered story is worth telling. Um, who wants to hear a story about someone's perfect life, going about perfect day? It seems kind of flatline boring. Like, I'm not trying to be sound like a crazy person here, but it is pretty kind of flatline boring. Um, what we see in school and literature everywhere, in movies, that when we have a storyline, there was always an antagonist, always a problem, and that's what makes it interesting. And in the end, there's always a lesson to be learned after the problem. There are so many things in our childhood that we can learn from, if we go back to like little kid stories, that we learn things like that without an antagonist, without a problem, there would be no better superhero in the end, no better condition in the end. um so just remember that when your life feels like crap, and when you feel like crap, or when you feel like you're suffering, you aren't doing enough, and you're wondering why God, why can't I just be happy, just remember that every suffered story is one worth telling. And I know that for me, I just want my life to be completely perfect already, and I am ready to have all the perfection in the world. But obviously it isn't my time yet. Obviously I still have a lot to know, a lot to learn, and I struggle with that sometimes, because I feel like I'm working so hard to be where I want to be, and I just am not fully there yet. In my mindset, I'm not there yet, even though realistically I have grown so much from where I used to be. Um, in my mindset, I'm not to where I want to be yet, and it frustrates me so much sometimes, because I feel like God doesn't think I'm deserving enough to get those things. But I just have to remember that that's not the case. God is not a resentful God in my eyes. God is always, to me, is like a father. I know we have this in religions. We have a, a kind of like a picture of God where he's a man, or we call him father. But to me, I see God as a father, but not the way the religions see it. Um, I see God as a parent. I do. And I am a parent, and as a parent, sometimes I have to discipline my daughter, and I have to, tell her no or have her do things that she doesn't want to do, and it hurts her in the very moment. It makes her sad, and she doesn't know that. She just thinks I'm just bashing on her for no reason, and it's not. It's because I know I need to discipline her. I know it's for her better good in the future, and that's the same thing with God. That's the way I see God. Is that God that does these things to us. God makes us cry and suffer, not because God is sitting there and laughing at us. Ha ha ha! You're suffering. Ha ha! I'm gonna sit down and eat, popcorn and stuff and watch you suffer just for the heck of it. Just because I think you don't deserve happiness. Just because I think you're a bad person. That is never the case. God makes us suffer so that we can learn and be disciplined and be a better person in the future. And as parents, I know that when I imagine my daughter in the future, I want her to be a happy, disciplined person. I want her to be able to see and envision what she wants and be able to grasp it. I don't want a lazy child who ends up in jail or who just is sad because she doesn't want to be where she wants to be. I don't want that. I want my children to be happy, and with that happiness comes a lot of discipline and a lot of growth and a lot of suffering. And so that's what God is doing to us, in my opinion. And as much as it hurts him to make us suffer, because I feel that God has so much love for us, and although that love is prevailing and although that love is understanding, I think that somewhere deep down inside, God may still suffer and feel pain when he sees us suffer, because we're his children and God suffers with us. And as much as it may hurt him to do that, he still does it because he knows, he sees, he thinks of the future like we think of the future with our children. And he thinks, you know what, I can't have you living in this blindness or in this uh, future suffering that you will endure in the future because you haven't been trained enough or you haven't grown enough to do these things. God does these things so that we can learn, so that we can be better in the future, and so that we can look back at everything that we've been through and say, you know what, if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't be here today. If it wasn't for that person being mean to me, I wouldn't be here today. If it wasn't for my horrible divorce, I wouldn't be here today. If it wasn't for me getting pregnant when I was 15, I wouldn't be here today. Those things that we view as negative things in the past are just growth opportunities, which is why when I talk about negative and positive, I really just like to mix them into one sometimes, because it's really just growth. And in the future, I think that I will just stop kind of different differentiating positive and negative and just say it's growth. But right now, what helps me understand and what will help me grow is just kind of seeing that positive and negative. And also, one more thing I just want to say is, when someone is having a bad day, obviously they're not going to be rainbows out of their mouths or eyes or whatever, just rainbows everywhere, like it's not going to be a happy thing. When a human being is upset, you can tell. And when someone is rude to you or mean to you, what I like to think is not take it personally, because I never know what that person is going through. I never know who that person lost. I never know what job that person lost. I never know if that person's daughter is in jail or something. I never know that. So whenever someone's mean to me and is rude to me and I'm just like, whoa, I have to take a second and say, okay, I don't know this person, but this person is probably suffering, obviously suffering because they're acting like this. So I compliment them, I try to make them happy. Also, when when I first started my journey, I had this huge belief: you hate what you hate in others what you hate in yourselves. And I don't use that too much right now, but I still kind of do. It pervades what I feel I believe in right now. But when you're just with another person and they kind of take you off, don't. What helps me is, I know in the past when a person used to take me off, I used to just think in my head, oh, I wish I could do this and this to this person, da 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 da, you know. But now when someone really pushes my buttons, I think, okay, you know what bugs me in that person is probably what I'm struggling with inside. These are clues to what I'm struggling with inside myself, what I'm denying in myself. I If someone's bugging me because they're talking rudely to me, I think two times that I talk to people and I think, am I talking rudely to these other people? I just do things like that. I always take what I see on the outside of the world and apply it to myself, especially the negative, because I'm such a strong believer that what we what we see on the outside and what bothers us on the outside bothers us, bugs us in the first place, because a fear that we have it inside ourselves and we're trying to deny it. And yeah, I hope that makes sense. Explaining these things is just so hard for me sometimes, but I really hope that that makes sense. So I hope you guys have a great and fabulous day. If you have any questions or comments, suggestions, anything like that, please feel free to comment or write me a message. I love your feedback, I really do. And I have the most amazing conversations with a lot of you guys. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope all the happiness in the world is with you. So thank you so much, and I'll see you soon. Bye bye.